Terry Dale, presidente di USTOA o USTOA, ovvero l'Associazione dei Tour Operator Americani statunitensi. Terry, during your speech here in Beijing, you said that people make tourism, not governments.
No, government provides opportunity and challenges. So whether it's visa processing and access, but we need to get alignment so both the private and public sector can work together so we can facilitate more travel. But travel is healthy right now.
But as politics help tourism, don't you think that tourism sometimes help politics? I mean that some conflicts can be bypassed by relation between people, that you mean tourism.
Yes. Totally. I mean, I have numerous examples during my career of where tourism has opened up opportunities. And I'll use one example. I'm not sure this is the best example, but in Cuba, during the Obama administration, there was this willingness to open up travel for U.S. travelers, and our members facilitated that. So we can, the challenges with governments are very real, but it doesn't mean that industry and private sector can't educate, influence for the right end result. So that's what we hope for.
You are in China.
Yeah.
And China, you said, is very wanted, is very desired by USA people. Americans like China. As of course they like Europe too, but China is the Far East.
Well, I agree. I think there's a big difference because Europe for the US traveler feels accessible. I can jump, I do this, not most people would do this, but I will jump on a plane and spend a weekend in Paris or Rome. Friday night, Monday morning, a weekend. China is more of a commitment, from a time and investment perspective. But I do wholeheartedly believe that the bragging rights when you go to the office, which we don't go to the office as much as we used to, but to say I went to Beijing last week. And I think that carries a lot of weight because I think the US traveler wants to get out and explore more. And so I think China, for us in the US, is a huge potential. Doesn't mean it doesn't come with huge.
But we know that many Americans don't have passport. They don't use that. They usually.
We're getting better. We're getting better. So yes, we should have more than we do, but we have more passports than we used to.
It's going up.
It's going up. The trajectory is good, but it's not great. And it's just, we gotta work.
Well, about Europe, I know that you exactly, your company works a lot with Europe. And of course, there is difference between the many countries in Europe. But USA, they think, not many countries, they think Europe is one country. Don't they? And what about Italy?
What about Italy? What can I say? Every year we do our annual trends survey. What's the hot destination? Italy, every year, ranks number one.
Is on the top.
On the top, yeah. And it's not surprising that, the people, the culture, the cuisine, everything about it is kind of like the right fit. So Italy, from our perspective, is always key to our success.
But other different targets for different European countries. I mean, some countries can get more cultural tourism, some ones for fun tourism, for night movida.
Yeah, no, we have 148 DMOs, destination marketing organizations from around the world. So our responsibility is to educate and hopefully motivate a DMO to work with our members, whether it's Croatia or Colombia or here in Beijing. So our job is not to direct, but to say, these are the opportunities, and you have to make a determination as to what's the best business fit for you. So, do I try something in Croatia? Do I try something in Colombia? We know Italy is a known commodity and a bestseller. So that's great. But what do you do to kind of enhance your portfolio, your global portfolio?
And as your role is educating tourists, of course, it's difficult to do it by online selling. I mean, travel agents are still alive in USA.
Yeah, they are. Well, I mean, right here, I don't know how many, but we have, I'm just going to speculate, half of the delegation are travel advisors, and 68% of all of our tour packages are sold through the travel advisor. So they're key to our success. So, when we hear these, and you've heard it, I've heard it, the travel agent, which we now say travel advisor, their history, and they're not history. We need them to sell our product, and I think their relevance is more today than it was 10 years ago.
It is interesting. So the online, the e-commerce is not killing the travel agents.
It's not. So here's the deal. So if you book a trip, and don't get me wrong, I have booked a trip through Expedia or whoever, but yet you get on that experience and there's an issue with the airline or a hotel or whatever, you're kind of on your own. If you book with a travel advisor or a tour operator, you have somebody you can reach out to and say, okay, this is the issue. Can you help me? So if you're a solo traveler going online, which a lot of people do, but you can face challenges. You can face challenges. Not insurmountable. Not insurmountable, but if you got somebody like a travel advisor or a tour operator in your back court.
Last question about a particular tourism, kind of tourism in Italy, that is shopping. In last 2 years we have recorded really great tourism, incoming tourism in Milano. That is usually was not an historical town, the best destination for tourism. Well, what is shopping tourism in the mentality, in the culture of American tourists?
Well, the only reason I hesitate is because for me it's very high. But I can't judge me by the rest of the country. But I would say the shopping culture for the U.S. traveler is pretty up there. They enjoy it. And I base some of this on anecdotal stories. I do an out-of-country board meeting every year. So this year we went to Portugal, last year Jordan, and one of the frequent constructive feedback we get from my board, who are participants in this meeting, is that you never give us enough time to shop. So even the tour operators like to shop.
They aim to shop.
Yeah. So we are not good at providing them the adequate amount of time, but shopping is still, to the U.S. consumer or a tour operator.
Last question about China as we are here now. So you have signed some documents, some agreements.
Yep.
First, what did you sign today? Second, do you remember the ping pong diplomacy with Mr. Kissinger and Nixon? It was the first.
Yeah.
The first agreement
it was
opening to China.
It was the first. Yeah. That was amazing. So as far as our relationship at the moment, China has agreed to be a sponsor of our marketing campaign this year, and they're also going to sponsor at our annual conference in Marco Island. So they have stepped up in a very significant way to say, we want to get back in the game and start figuring this out. So that's where we are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And see you in Italy.
I hope.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And if we are storytellers, this is what it's about. You know, this song, which she recorded around the Academy Award-winning Tiffany's breakfast at Tiffany's, she recorded this, and it's become iconic. And never did it, in my wildest dreams, did I think that I would be sitting in Xi'an in this conference and hearing this choir singing Moon River. And you know, what's great about this song and the lyrics is that they talk about dream makers. And ultimately, that's what we are in this room. We're dream makers. And if we can hold on to that, we're all going to get through the challenges that we face. And the other lyric in this song that, again, I sat at this opening session and, you know, I had goosebumps and everything, but the lyrics also say, we're drifters in the world to see the world as it is. And that's what it's all about. You know, we want people to have that drifter spirit, you know, to be willing and wanting to come to China, to experience your culture, your people, everything about this amazing country. So we have the opportunity as storytellers to do a better job. And this is me getting on my soapbox, but I feel like as an industry in travel, we overuse words. So I don't know about here in China, but in the US, we call everything luxury. This is a luxury experience. We call everything immersive. This is an immersive experience. We call everything adventure travel. Now, when I walk around my neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, I call that adventure travel. So how all of us define luxury or adventure or immersive, it's all individualistic. But my issue is that we overuse and we call everything, all of these terms, and then it eventually is meaningless, I hate to say. So I think we need to be better storytellers, and I'm hopeful that the next cycle of stories shifts from where we are today and goes more in the direction of meaningful, purposeful. How do we get our economic impact into neighborhoods that can most benefit from what we do day in and day out. And that's, I think, ultimately, no, I don't think, that's what we celebrate here. We need to celebrate the fact that we have a moment here to rekindle, rebuild, reimagine, and reinvigorate our relationship within the tourism industry between China and the US. And we can do that in a way that sometimes government can't, but we can. Because we do have that bridge between cultures. And you know, what boggles my mind is we're all people. You know, we're people. We may live in different parts of the world, but we are all people. And ultimately, if we want to share and understand this global community, we need to do that, and we can do that through travel and tourism. And how lucky are we to be able to do that? So, anyway, I love the fact this is our future. And just as we saw 10 minutes ago that choir sing, they are our future. And our responsibility is how do we make sure we provide them the future that we've had, and travel is key to that, or I certainly believe that. So I wanted to, just reiterate meaningful, purposeful, and impactful travel. That's how I hope we talk in the future about our industry. And just know this, I'm not going to, when I agreed to do this little presentation, I'm not going to sit and spew numbers and facts. The reality is, everyone here knows there's a business opportunity represented between China and the US. And that's why we are seated here today. And the purpose is to build the partnerships and the relationships for us to have that kind of economic impact that we want and we deserve. But it only, well, I shouldn't say only, but it happens through travel. And it's this travel family that we celebrate. So I want to end with a quote from St. Augustine that I just heard, I don't even know where, in the last 48 hours. But he's an extraordinary theologian and philosopher, and he wrote, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." So we have a lot of pages to read, and that's good for us because there's a lot of travel that goes with those pages that we want consumers and customers to read. But let's not lose this moment, okay? I have been to many of these events around the world and say, we're gonna do X, Y, Z, and we don't necessarily always get it done. Let's get it done this time, okay? Because the opportunity economically, socially, culturally, for all of us in this room is significant. So let's make sure our travelers are reading the book of travel, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Dale. 感谢两位的精彩致辞。那下面呢将会是我们的旅游推介环节。Next up, I will give the stage to my beautiful co-host, and she will share with you Beijing's abundant tourism resources. But first of all, let's have a little bit of that concept imprinted in our head through a vivid performance. We'll have a very interesting yet beautiful Diablo acrobatic performance, which is called Gorgeous Girls. 下面我们的旅游推荐会之前呢，首先请大家欣赏空竹表演《俏佳人》。
truly an amazing performance.